Hey, it's Bob Harris here, and today we're going to work on 8 of the most important fingerstyle techniques. If you're leaving some of these techniques out, it could really be holding you back from moving from beginner to intermediate. So while we're working on those techniques, we're also going to be working on a song. And that means you're going to have your guitar with you, because we're not going to just talk about the techniques, we're going to work on them together. So please watch the whole video, work on it with me. You'll be happy that you did, because you don't want to miss that one technique that's holding you back. So first I want to play the song that we're going to be learning. This is the intermediate version, and then we're going to break it down in sections and work on it together. And I'm going to try to pull you into the intermediate level by using these techniques. So here's the song, let's listen to it. Okay, so that was the intermediate version of the song, and I just want to point out that if you absolutely have no experience playing the guitar at all, you're going to want to go right here, and you're going to want to take my fingerstyle guitar beginner lessons. And this is lessons that you've never played a guitar before, first time picking it up. It's been laying in the corner for 30 years and you just look at it. You're going to want to take these lessons. So go here and download that. Now for the rest of you that already have a little experience, that are trying to move into the intermediate level, I'm sure you know how to read tab. And here's the tab right here that I use. And let me just show you around real quick. This is the chords for each measure. These are the measures, measure 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. I have a fretboard over here that lights up when we're doing the play-alongs, and shows you what the chords are in the left hand as well. Underneath here I have the strings that we're plucking. By the way, the chords obviously are the left hand for a right-handed guitarist. This is what the left hand does over here. On the right hand we have the fingers that we're using to pluck the guitar. So we have thumb, thumb, index, thumb, thumb. And this whole first intro section is all the same thing over and over again. There's only 2 chords that change here. And this is the beginner version. So finally we have these bar lines right here, which indicates and tells us when to play. So in each measure there's a total of 8 beats, and that consists of 4 downbeats and 4 and beats. And if we were to play all 8 notes in the measure, the tab would look like this, and it would be counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let me take away all of the and beats, and this would just be counting the down beats. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so anytime you see a downbeat, it's usually in this style of music played with the thumb. All the downbeats are played with the thumb. All right, that's not a total hard rule, but in this case, for this song, it is a hard rule. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me add back the 1 and beat, and that would be counted like this: 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So if we go to the A section of the song, it's counted out like this: 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, let's go back to the beginning of the song and we're going to take out all the ands. All right, so I hope you have your guitar with you. We're going to do this right now. We're going to go to measure 1, and let me show you that first chord. By the way, this is string 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1 being the thinnest, 6 being the thickest. First chord, we're 2 frets up on the 3rd string with our middle finger, and 2 frets up with our ring finger on the 2nd string, like so. That's the first chord of measure 1. All right? So let's go ahead and play measure 1 right now. And we're just going to go with the thumb here, and I'm just going to count it out like this. 1, and we're plucking 4th string, you can see in the tab here, 4th string, 3rd string, 4th string, 3rd string, counted 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I know what you're thinking, we don't even hear that note in there, but we're going to get to that, okay? So I want you to learn this chord first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Second measure, what we're doing is we're lifting our ring finger off, and we're playing a 1-fingered chord here. So we'll take it from measure 1 to 2, we're lifting our finger off. Measure 3. Measure 4. So what I want to do now is, here's the big technique tip number 1 is a metronome. A lot of you guys are playing without a metronome, and that is one thing that, believe it or not, you're not going to get to the intermediate level unless your timing is better, because good timing is the key to this whole thing here. So I'm going to put this metronome on 50 beats per minute, and we're going to be doing a double time with that. So it's going to be clicking off at all 8 beats. All right. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll count it off, and we're going to go from measures 1 to measure 8. 1 and 2 and 3. Here we go. Measure 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Measure 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 4. 2, 3. Hope you're playing along with me. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. Measure 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to add the and note to this song, and the and note, as you're looking at the tab here, occurs right here. This is on the and of 2. So once again, to just clarify this counting thing, anytime you see this additional little bar and the staff going up again and a note sandwiched in between our regular notes, those downbeats, that's going to be an and note that's coming up. So if you're counting it out, let's go ahead and play this chord. If you're counting it out, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So let's go ahead and put the metronome on, and we're going to just go ahead and play 1 through 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Measure 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Measure 7. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. By the way, I forgot to mention, but you can see it in the chart, that I was plucking the second string, the and note, on every measure with my index finger. What you want to do then is you want to slowly build up speed by turning the metronome up a little bit, okay? So I had it at 50, and 55, 56 is not going to mean, it's not going to mean that much of a difference, because if we're splitting it in two, it's like 27, so we marked it up 2. Let's go ahead and put it on 60, because I think that that's slow enough, and I think you're going to be able to play that. Let's put it on 60, and it doesn't sound like much of a difference. Here we go. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Measure 1. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. This is measure 3. 2, and 3, and 4. Measure 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. Measure 7. 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. Actually made a mistake there, but I think you get the idea. So the basic idea is you want to just be able to move the click up. Go ahead and start every one of your lessons at a slow tempo. And then after you've played it for a while and gotten used to it at that slow tempo and you can do it good, go ahead and raise the click up a little bit. Raise it to 60, raise it to 70, whatever you could take, 65, 70. Like I said, you're not going to notice that much of a difference by raising it 5 points if you're doing it double time, okay? So, all right, that's measures 1 through 8. Let's take a look at the beginning of the song. We're on measure 9 now, and this is the hardest chord of the song. And I play it like this. It's just using one finger, and it's going up 2 frets, and I'm barring it across 3 strings. All right? Why don't you try that with me? Let's just try that chord right now to see if you can do it. One of the things that I do is I don't lay my finger totally flat over it because that takes a lot of pressure. I kind of go sideways with these bar chords here, and I want to get you to learn some bar chords too. But one of the things is you got to almost lay your finger kind of sideways a little bit to get that bar chord out. Like, in other words, it's the string. I don't know if you could see this, but my string marks are more on the side of my finger than they are on the flat part. Okay? You can see a little bit here, but most of it, if I go like this and go like this and press really hard, and it's important to have your thumb down here, okay? To get this chord, you have to have good clamping, and I'm going to show you one other secret to getting this chord too. But if I take my finger off and you look where the ridges are, where the string is, you can see that they're not flat right in there. They're not going across the flat part of the string. They're on the side here a little bit, okay? And I have the finger curled a little bit. Thumb is in the right place. This chord is impossible if your thumb is way up here. And you might see my thumb sticking out a little bit, but I even have to go down here pretty much to get this chord out. All right, so why don't you try that chord with me? It's barred across strings 1, 2, and 3 with my index finger on the 2nd fret. So why don't you try that chord with me? And if I'm just going to go ahead and strum it, okay, it sounds like this. Some people will use their ring finger to bar it. Other people, I've seen it use their middle finger. And I'm just kind of, this one kind of lays flat, okay? But this finger right here has to lay sideways. This one a little bit sideways. This one can kind of lay flat. And I'm kind of pressing down with it. Okay, I don't know if you could see that. But especially for this finger, that thumb has got to be in the right place. I would like if you would use this finger for this chord, because when we get a little bit further down the road, we're going to have to make a move here like this. Okay? And so this would be ideally how to play this chord to get the most mobility out of this song. All right? Now, one thing I'm going to tell you about this chord and getting some of these bar chords that I don't see anybody talking about, and I'm going to tell you right now, to get the leverage right, you've got to lean your guitar and press it up against your chest a little bit so that you get some leverage happening. See, if you have it out here, it's your guitar is loose and you have nothing to really get the leverage with that finger here. But if your guitar is resting in your chest a little bit, you have kind of another lever here, another way to press down on it by using your body a little bit. Now, if you've taken my one guitar lesson that I showed you, this position right here, same things applies. Go ahead and press it in your chest. This is really the classical and the proper way to play. But I know a lot of people start out like this and it gets comfortable. Ultimately, this is a little better because it tilts up the neck. You don't want to be playing these chords down here like this, okay? You want to have your guitar tilted up a little bit, okay? So if you're not resting on this leg, which is really the correct way to do it, and it's going to be easier on this leg and pressed up against your chest a little bit, this way is going to work as well, okay? So try that chord with me, okay? Press up against the chest. Now, if you have to do this, that's fine too. And if you have to do this, it's just going to make it a little bit harder to get to some of those moves later on down the road. So the other thing too is with a regular F chord, which I've never even showed, you're going to have to bar with 2 fingers anyway. And then with bar chords, it's the same principle with the bar chords. Now, I'm not going to show any bar chords now, but if you can get this chord down, it's going to make some of your bar chords a little bit easier. All right, so that's with that chord, hardest chord of the song here, okay? So measures 9 through 16, on measure 9, the timing of this it goes like this. And what I'm going to do is, let me do this. Let me take out one of the notes here. For measures 9, 11, 13, and 15, I'm going to take out one note. And that timing would be like this: 1, 2, and 3, 4. So measures 9, 11, 13, and 15 are all the same. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now measure 10, the timing is a little bit different. The notes are in a different place. We're not playing anything on the left hand here, and we're picking it like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4. So measures 9 and 10 together is 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let me put the click on real slow and we'll play 9 through 16 together. And 2, and 3. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Measure 13. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1. Measure 14. 2, 3, and 4. 15. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Measure 16. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is another technique that I use where I just will omit a note that I don't feel comfortable playing with yet, but I could still play the song. And you could do this with any tab. If there's a part that you're having a problem with, just take the note out for now and go ahead and try to play the section without that note. And this, just all you have to do is just maintain the same timing that's happening, just omit the note. In other words, just play it without. Now, with the note, let me put the note back in. It sounds like this. And you could see that it's the and of, it's 1, 2, and 3, and. It's the 3 and that we're going to add with our middle finger. So the pattern now is thumb, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb. Okay, and this is Travis style picking. Thumb, thumb, index, thumb, middle, thumb. In fact, the whole song is Travis style picking. And this is 3-fingered Travis style picking. Incidentally, Merle only played with 2 fingers. So you could do that too. You could do thumb, thumb, index, thumb, index, thumb. But if you could use your middle finger, it'll make it easier, I think, in the long run. So I'm adding that note, and let me count it out again. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. If I count all the ands and everything, it'd be 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So measures 10 and 12, 14 and 16, they're all the same. We're just adding that one note to this measures 9, 11, 13, and 15. Let me put the click on real slow again. Let's play this together. Hopefully we can add that note. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4. off on the left hand. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Measure 12. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 13. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Measure 15. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Measure 16, just 4 notes. 1, all downbeats. 2, 3, 4. All right, measures 17 through 24 is identical to measures 9 through 16, which we already did, so we're more than halfway there. We're going to work on measures 25 through 28. Now, you'll notice that this E minor chord, there's nothing on the left hand at all. And then for the A7th chord, we have a one-fingered A7th chord in measure 26. That's just 2 frets up on the second string, and you want to play that with your middle finger. All right? So let me take some notes out here, and let's just work on the thumb part first. The thumb is a little tricky because we're not playing on this first chord, we're not playing strings 5 and 4, and the thumb is going back and forth between strings 6 and 3. So let's just try measure 25 together, nothing on the left hand. 6, 3, 6, 3. Counted 1, 2, all downbeats. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it just takes a little bit of coordination going, spanning that far. And what I would do is I would practice this in a section here. And that's my next tip, is to break things down into smaller sections and just isolate those sections to work on that you could be having trouble with, or even just isolating things that you're not having trouble with. It's just good to work on small sections at a time. So let me play the whole thing for you, measures 25 through 28. But notice on measure 28 that we have a different note here that we're playing on the left hand. We're just taking this note and sliding it up, okay? And it's not a slide note. We're just that's all we have to do to get that note, is just slide it up here, okay? So let me play you real slow. I'm not even going to use the metronome here. Here's measure 25. Measure 26. Now we're going 5, 3, 5, 3. Measure 27. 6, 3, 6, 3. Measure 28. So let me add one more note to this phrase. It gets added to every one of these measures. So it's counted like this: 1, 2, and 3. 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So we're going to add one more note now, and it gets added to all of the measures. It's with our middle finger. And it's the middle finger on playing the first string, plucking the first string. And it's always going to be an open note there. So that sounds like this: 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 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 Let's go ahead and add the click real slow to play that. And 2. At 50 beats per minute, 25 and 4. Measure 25. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 26. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 27. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 28. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. One thing that I get asked a lot is, Bob, is it okay if I play the E minor like this instead of the way that you're showing like this? And I'm just picking a random chord because I got asked a lot with this, with the finger picking for beginners, if I could play the chord like this instead of this. And the answer is yes, you can do it that way. And then a lot of people learn the G chord like this. Some people play the G chord like this. Some people play it like this. Some people play it like this. You're ultimately going to want to be able to be versatile, to be able to play these chords with different chord fingering positions, all right? And the reason is because it depends on the song what chord you're going to want to use. Say you're using a G chord and you're going to this C chord. Well, this chord right here would be an easier G chord to switch back and forth between these positions. But then if you're playing a C chord like this type of C chord, obviously this one is going to be easier. So it all depends on where you are and where you're going and what fingering you're going to want to use. So for measures 28 through 30, we're going to have to make some decisions on which fingering you want to use. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever you're comfortable with. But the first decision is we have to decide whether we want to use our middle finger for this note in measure 28 that we were playing. I was showing it with the middle finger. And because what happens, let me put the intermediate version up. What happens is on measure 29, we're going to have to be forced to play that D. We're already there, so we're forced to play that D chord like this, where I know a lot of you learned it like this, and we would be playing that. So if you want to play this regular D chord minus your index finger, these two-finger D chord, on measure 28 you'd have to use your ring finger with that move there. You can see that we're going to be adding another note in there afterwards, so you'd have to be sliding with your ring finger instead of your middle finger. So if you slide with your middle finger, you have to go to this chord. It's easier than going like this and then going like that. It's going to be terrible. So, and vice versa. If you started with your ring finger and then you went to this chord, I mean, it could be done, but it's just extra work. And one of the things is you just want to have ease, economy of motion, just, whatever the easiest path is here. You can see that this is easy, but this and then going to this is not as easy, all right? So that's why we have to plan out our move. So on measure 30, or 29 rather, you want to first decide if you want to use this D chord position, index finger 2 frets up and middle finger 3 frets up, or if you want to use this position. And if it's that position, then this finger right here has to be used for measure 28, okay? So I hope that makes sense. So on measure 30, the second chord is a D chord, that D chord again, either this fingering or this fingering, and we have to decide first which fingering we're going to use for that, because the next chord that's coming up is an A chord, and you're either going to play it with your pinky on the 5th fret and your ring finger on the 5th fret. This is 1st string and 2nd string, like so. Or you're going to choose that it's easier to play with your middle finger and your ring finger. Okay, ring finger on the 5th fret, 1st string, and middle finger, 5 frets up on your second string. Okay, so that's pretty easy. That chord is easy. I mean, this is easy too, but here's the limitation, and here's the caveat of the whole thing. If you use the regular D chord, you're forced to have to use that pinky because we have to slide that note up. Okay, so we're going, it's actually like this. Okay, so if we use this D chord, see, our finger's already over here, and we're sliding with that middle finger on the second string, 3 frets up, and then we can grab it like this. So that's a decision right there that we have to make, either this move or this move. Okay, and that's going to determine what finger we're going to use for the beginner version. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it the way that I play it, and you can just, decide how you want to do it. But let's get the metronome out and let's just play this whole passage here. And 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. What's interesting is I'm doing on measure 28 or 29, I'm playing this chord, and on measure 30, I'm doing this chord. So you could mix and match, of course, like I'm doing as well. All right, so that covers it. We go back to a half intro if you want to play the song over again. Just go one time through with the intro and then start the A section again. Just repeat the whole thing. In the sheet music, I have it going twice, but we can end it right here. Just play the measures 31 through 34, which would be 32, 33, 34, and then we can just simply go like this to finish off the song with the same chord that we're using in 31 and 33. right, so if you don't have the sheet music already, you can go ahead and download it right here. I've already sent out the sheet music to my VIP guitar group, and you have an opportunity to join that as well and get the sheet music. Everything's free to the group, free lessons, free sheet music, free study guide, free help. I help everybody in the group, and there's videos that I post to the group that are not on YouTube. So if you want to get in on that, that would be great if you're serious about learning fingerstyle guitar and getting better. I want to put up the reminder of the techniques here. Here's the techniques to just remind you of. And we will see you in next week's lesson.